readers will be stimulated to do further study on some of the topics of particular interest to them. As I studied the subjects of both godliness and Christian character, I was somewhat amazed that I could find so little that has been previously written on these subjects. Consequently, I have had to plow new ground in some areas. This has forced me back to the Scriptures more than if I had the advantage of the writings of previous generations. My one qualification for presenting these studies, then, lies in 30 years of personal Bible study, using methods and tools available to any layman. There is a certain sense of anxiety in committing these studies to print, which comes from the warning of James that, "Not many of you should presume to be teachers, my brothers, because you know that we who teach will be judged more strictly." James chapter 3, verse 1. I am keenly aware of the need for more growth in my own life in many of the areas covered in this book. It is my prayer, however, that both author and readers will grow together as we practice godliness. This book should be studied more than read. To facilitate that study, I have prepared a companion Bible study to be used in conjunction with this book. Though the book text is complete in itself, the use of the companion Bible study will enable the reader and student to gain a better grasp of the scriptural truths taught. I am deeply indebted to the staff of Nav Press for their encouragement to write this book and for their help in preparing the manuscript for final production. Chapter 1. Value for all things. For physical training is of some value, but godliness has value for all things, holding promise for both the present life and the life to come. 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 8. There is no higher compliment that can be paid to a Christian than to call him a godly person. He might be a conscientious parent, a zealous church worker, a dynamic spokesman for Christ, or a talented Christian leader. But none of these things matters if, at the same time, he is not a godly person. The words godly and godliness actually appear only a few times in the New Testament. Yet the entire Bible is a book on godliness. And when those words do appear, they are pregnant with meaning and instruction for us. When Paul wants to distill the essence of the Christian life into one brief paragraph, he focuses on godliness. He tells us that God's grace teaches us to say no to ungodliness and worldly passions, and to live self-controlled, upright, and godly lives, as we await the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ. Titus chapter 2, verses 11 through 13. When Paul thinks of his own job description as an apostle of Jesus Christ, he describes it as being called to further the faith of God's elect and their knowledge of the truth that leads to godliness. Titus chapter 1, verse 1. In his first letter to Timothy, Paul emphasizes godliness. We are to pray for those in authority, that we may live peaceful and quiet lives in all godliness and holiness. We are to train ourselves to be godly. We are to pursue godliness, the word pursue indicating unrelenting, persevering effort. Godliness with contentment is held forth as great gain, and finally, godliness has value for all things, holding promise for both the present life and the life to come. When Peter, in looking forward to the day of the Lord, when the earth and everything in it will be destroyed, asks what kind of people we ought to be, he answers that we are to live holy and godly lives. 2 Peter chapter 3, verses 10 through 12. Here Peter uses the most momentous event of all history to stir us up to our Christian duty, to live holy and godly lives. Surely then godliness is no optional spiritual luxury for a few quaint Christians of a bygone era or for some group of super saints of today. It is both the privilege and the duty of every Christian to pursue godliness, to train himself to be godly, to study diligently the practice of godliness. We don't need any special talent or equipment. God has given to each one of us everything we need for life and godliness. 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 3. The most ordinary Christian has all that he needs, and the most talented Christian must use those same means in the practice of godliness.